Okay. Welcome, imaginary audience from the future that I don't know. Okay, so where are we? Welcome. Welcome. This is an experiment episode 27. Time to catch up. Um yeah, it's been a hot minute since I did one of these. It's time to process through some stuff. I'll try to make this short too. I'm making some tea. I'm gonna try to keep it under 20 minutes if I can. Nope, I'm definitely going to keep it under 20 minutes. Like 20 minutes is a max. I'm like putting that boundary for myself that when we get to 20 minutes, doesn't matter. I'm going to stop. Okay. I've been coming back into my sense of power recently, which is all good, fine, and dandy. I'm getting back to this place of feeling like I'm more in control, more focused than ever. Just everything is really kind of just like locking in for myself, which is awesome. It's something that I've been missing from myself for a while, and I'm glad that it's back. And it happens by no coincidence. I'm sure it's through some of the processing that I've had to go through with all of the shit that's been going on this year and some of the year before. Basically, when I entered the online coaching space. Yeah. So I'm trying to stop saying that word too. The uhs and the ums, they'll get you. I entered the space about 16 months ago, and when I entered, I was at an all-time high in just my resolve and my focus and my determination, just ready to fucking go. Let's take life to the next level. And I enrolled in this mastermind with these internet marketing gurus that were supposed to help me land clients anyway. Put a whole bunch of money into it for this whole system that's kind of just like bogus, really. And and the reason I can say that confidently is that if you've got a program that you're selling to people and you have like a 5% success rate is like giving them credit, okay? Most people don't see results from the program. And if you have something that has such a high failure rate, then you have to wonder if the substance is actually good. It's not. Anyway, I digress. So that whole thing started twisting my entire worldview and my values and all of the things that I kind of stood for because I had this whole, perspective, value system, belief system, and all of this stuff. And these gurus were like, well, that's all wrong. And you can trust us because my light turned off, so I had to turn it back on. We made all of this money, so obviously we know what you're talking about, and you don't have money. Like I've gone on and on about this on this episode, so we don't need to be a dead horse about what that's all about. And then it just started this whole downward spiral, and then now I'm putting like this is like the close of that chapter. That was online coaching business version 1.0, like putting like stop. That chapter is over. Okay. And I'm like tying it up with a nice little bow and done. Okay. I gave myself some space to close out that chapter. Went and got a job at a hardware store at Lowe's. I help people find light bulbs, which, as I think about it, it's kind of, there's a certain synchronistic or aspect to it because that's what I give to people while coaching. I give them those little like light bulb moments where like ding, it's like, oh shit. It's like there's that illumination of something. There's a light that pops, right, in their mind, and it's like, oh my gosh. And they see the thing they hadn't saw before. And and I spend most of my time at Lowe's helping people find light bulbs that they're searching for. And usually they'll come in, they're like, this is the one that I have, but I'm looking for the one that replaces it. And I'm like, oh, this one, this is the light bulb that you're looking for. I know this because I walk up and down this aisle 50,000 times a day. Figuratively, not literally. I digress. So I got that job. I stopped actively seeking out clients. I kind of got on calls with people and all this stuff. But ultimately, what I did and what I'm doing is because I firmly believe. I mean, here's the thing, and you can go any way with this that you want to. I mean, life is kind of inherently meaningless until we apply meaning to it, right? Nothing has meaning until meaning is assigned. And if we don't actively assign meaning, then meaning is passively assigned. And so, actively programming your own thought processes has to do with assigning your own meaning to life experiences. And so, what I'm effectively doing by putting that gap, the stop gap. I don't even know if that's the right terminology to use, whatever. By putting that stop gap there, I am able to put that into this is a moment of time where I had a life experience. This 16-month window of time, I had an experience, and I'm going to put a meaning to it. So it has a purpose. And the meaning that I am assigning to that experience is that it was a test of my resolve. It was a test of my conviction. Okay. It was a test of my resolve and it was a test of my conviction. If I was as convicted in my beliefs, if I thought I was, then none of those experiences in those 16 months where everything started getting warped and twisted and all of that shit, um, none of that would have happened because I would have been convicted. So ultimately, what I'm doing is I'm saying, well, this showed me just how much conviction I didn't have that I thought that I did. It showed me where my limits were. It showed me where I like stopped. These are my limits. This is it. I hit it. I hit my limits. Okay. I just stretch and stretch, like, I can't get it. But when you know what your limits look like, when you know what your limits look like, and you say, yep, I can own that. I thought one thing and it just wasn't that way. And I'm going to look at that and I'm going to recognize this is the truth of the matter. Truth of the matter is, I didn't have as much conviction as I thought that I did. I didn't have as much resolve as I thought that I did. That doesn't mean, okay, now that doesn't mean I don't have that conviction or resolve. It means that through that period of time, I thought one thing and the truth was something different. I overestimated myself. We do that sometimes. We can do that very easily, overestimate ourselves. Um, but in doing so, I've found the difference. I've found the limit. It's like this is what it looks like, and so now I can see, like, now that I know where this limit is, I know how to get past that limit. Right? Once you've identified what the limit is, then you can start to find out ways to get past it. Right? You can't get past the limit if you don't know what it is. Right? You can't break a limiting belief if you don't know what the limiting belief is. And I would love to say that it's possible to get to a point where there are no limits, but that's not true. There's always going to be an upper limit. Gay Hendricks talks about this in her book. It's like you get to that upper limit, things start getting wonky, right? So start identifying your upper limits and be like, okay, now I know where it's at. Let me get past it. Um, and that was the whole purpose of that entire experience. So now I'm able to like close that and be like, okay, cool. That's what it was. This is what I got from it. It happened. It's done. It's in the past. Let me learn from it and move forward. Like, let me just be like, you know what? I failed fucking hard as shit. I failed so hard. And here's the thing. This is the thing that I'm still working through a little bit. Um, what I'm still working through a little bit is that it's this whole element of how are you supposed to do the thing that you say you're going to be doing for people and you're not doing it for yourself? Well, it's no fucking wonder I failed because I wasn't doing the shit that I was supposed to be doing. Right? Because it's exactly what it is. I wasn't doing the shit that I was helping doing other people do. I was spending so much time trying to figure out other people's problems that I wasn't working on my own. And in doing so, that caused me to fail because I wasn't doing the shit that I tell other people to do. Okay? Lesson learned. Lesson learned, right? And it's not that I wasn't doing it at all. I was doing it, but I hadn't quite figured out how to make it happen in this new space. I and I think about it, it's like I had my whole world was downtown Nashville running sound. And then I go into in like the real, and then I go into this online space where it's all entrepreneurs and coaches and marketing people and sales guys and gals and you know all this like kind of like corporate stuff. I wouldn't say it's corporate because it's not corporate, but it's more corporate than working at a bar downtown. It really is. So let's see. I've got 7 minutes and 20 seconds left. Um, at any rate, so the way that there was an opposition and how on who I was and what my identity was and how it fit into this new place. And so I started trying to create this new identity and live into this for the industry or whatever. And it was less about what the shift that I needed to make wasn't creating a new identity for the space, but adapting my identity to the space. Yeah, that feels good. That's the mistake that I made. All these people say you have to change your identity. I was like, oh, okay, I guess that's what I have to do. Well, obviously, I wasn't very solid in my identity that I had to change it. Nope, you don't have to change your identity. You can adapt it. Adaptability is significantly better, more efficient. You don't have to change who you are, just adapt who you are to the circumstances. Eh. I've got my own thoughts about that, but I'll save it for later. Um, I don't want to save it for later. No, I need to not ignore that. There's and this is kind of like the paradoxical stuff, right? Um, you know, be yourself, right? Be yourself. Be true to who you are is one belief on how to exist in life. Okay. Just be your authentic self in all of its inglory and awesomeness, whatever that may be. The the I don't want to say problem, but um, the thing is that if you it's just the thing. This is cooking my noodle, and because partly because I'm trying to figure out how I wrap this up in 5 minutes. Um, it's that kind of it's the idea the disjoint is this idea of adapting your identity to a space or to circumstances or situations or whatever, um, and how that is almost it taps into that fitting in. It's like, well, I have to adapt to fit into a space or whatever. Which I don't even like. I'm not meant to fit in. I can't fit in. I won't fit in. Like I'm not the type to fit into much of anything. So trying to adapt for the purpose of fitting in is diametrically opposed to my whole existence, which is not being able to fit in. When I try to fit in, it never works. So all of that to say, changing to fit in is what I was trying to do, when it wasn't about changing to fit in. It was adapting. It's not even adapting my identity. I feel like I'm trying, what I'm really trying to do? I'm trying to justify something that doesn't make sense. I'm trying to rationalize something that doesn't make sense. And man, you that's one that'll wreck you. You know how often I do that sometimes? Try to rationalize something that doesn't make sense. And you end up talking to yourself in a circle like, oh, how do I rationalize this? How do I make that make sense? I can't make it make sense. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. You know what? It wasn't about adapting. It wasn't about changing. It was about being comfortable enough with who I am to show up and be like, hey, motherfuckers, this is me. Take it or leave it. I was too scared to do that. That's what it was. That's what it was. I was scared shitless that if I showed up as me, uh, in who I was, that I would get rejected like a virus. And I don't know why I was afraid of that. That I wanted people to like me. I wanted the validation. Like, oh, hey, man, yeah. It's like, and so it was a lot of this. It was a lot of like changing and adapting and all this stuff. And it's like, bro, just be you. Stop trying to rationalize stuff that doesn't make sense. So yeah, 20 minutes. My tea's almost ready. We're coming up on it. Yeah, that felt good. I don't know where I was going. Yeah, so I mean, all of this to say that entire period of life was like me moving away from myself and then coming back to myself. That's what it was. I journeyed so far off from myself, and then I had to come back to myself. Is basically what it was. And now that I'm back with myself, um, I don't know how to quite explain it really. But now that I'm back, things are back on track. All things are coming together well. And look, I said I was going to stop it at 20. You know what? Uh, I will stop it at 20 minutes. And I'm just going to give myself a quick pat on the back for all of the work that I did today in creating the Mindset Coaching Declaration of Purpose, where I'm documenting all of the trackers for how I'm going to create one of the most badass mindset coaching programs on the face of the fucking planet. You heard it here first, folks. And if I fail, then I fail, and that's okay too. All right, peace out. 20 minutes. Here we go. Bye.